So, if I got a second chance at life, I may have taken it. 7 a.m., you wake up, a thud pounding in your head. That soulless feeling fills your body as you slowly begin to give up. Stepping out of the room and into a new facade, because what's worse than your depression? To let your immigrant family mock you. We are your family. Talk to us. What problems could you possibly have? With a roof over your head and food on the table? Oh, that's right. You're just being dramatic. They belittle your fears and worries, but why? Because they were taught the same. But when I open up, they had no words. Somehow my insides burn as my throat swells, and I can feel tears streaming down my face. But through those tears, a reflection is created where they see themselves and their past and every struggle they faced alone. So let us break this stigma. Mental health is not an embarrassing thing. Asking for help does not make you weak, and you are strong enough to overcome every hardship you face, even if finding your strength becomes the hardest part of the journey. Here's a story I'd like to tell. When I was 13, I thought my life was hell. With my goals crushed, COVID made my heart swell, stuck in a four-sided box, quivering until I lost everything, including my sense of smell. I lost myself before I could even figure out who I was. Feeling trapped, my life became a buzz, trying hard to find what made me happy, but I still don't know what does. Finally finding the courage to speak up, I was shut down because he didn't know the answer himself. Handed a $20 bill, he looked over and said, "But don't kill yourself." He was raised in a world where he wasn't taught the importance of health, and as a result, I had to suffer because he thought the answer to my problems was wealth. So now when I look back and think, I can see my years flash by in a blink. The next time I catch myself beginning to sink, I know I'll have my poetry to heal me, the words of ink. The thing about poetry is the way it's meant to be read, because without it, it's meaningful words left unsaid. Thank you. When facing something difficult, we often find it hard to speak up to our families because we're worried that their image of us will change. But when speaking to a stranger or keeping it to ourselves, we don't necessarily have that issue. It's hard to open up to somebody because no one else may feel the same way we do. But before you leave today, I want you to know that we all go through our hardships in life, and even though you may not be able to see someone else's, they're not able to see yours either. We have to learn so that we don't make the same mistakes our parents did as they grew up. The world only goes around if we do our part in moving forward. Parents never learn the importance of mental illness and how impactful it can be, even if it isn't visible. The cycle will only continue unless we put a stop to it. So why is it that parents don't understand? Has anyone ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy? Maybe a show of hands? Parents were raised in third world countries where they didn't have the opportunity to fulfill anything except their basic needs. Now, your basic needs are your two bases of Maslow's hierarchy: food, water, shelter, things you could not live without. So they were raised in looking to find their food, learning where they were going to find the money to pay for their bills. But when they migrated here, when they migrated here and their needs were finally met, they missed out on the opportunity to learn how to fulfill their psychological ones as well as their self-fulfillment ones. Whether that was learning how to build a relationship with others or following their dreams. Back home in the 80s, my mother got married at the age of 16. She was a mother by 19. She missed out on her childhood because her needs were never seen. She was taught her purpose in life was to cook and clean. My mother never got to watch life bloom, letting the grass turn green. So I live my life for her because I am made of the same mud she is, creating me with every gene. My father traveled in his youth, leaving home at the age of 17. Never looking back, he eventually made an enemy. He now works day and night, giving me new opportunities endlessly, but he's slowly forgetting that his life was not meant for me. Sacrificing his sleep, he takes me to school daily, even back in elementary. My father does his best to understand this world, even at the age of 63, but I am only 18. Here they both sit in the audience, listening to me give this ceremony, giving me their full support as I figure out my own identity. Thank you. Now, everyone has a different relationship with their parent. We may love one a little bit more, or we may side with one more often. Some people even have a relationship with their parents so close that they're able to confide in them for everything, but some don't. Immigrant parents were learned to discipline through physical pain, not necessarily abuse, but they were taught actions speak louder than words. Whether that's your mom flinging a wooden spoon your way, or enduring the pain of the belt because you know one day it'll make a funny story, or at least I'd hope. We laugh over the occasional shoe thrown our way, or the fact that we know not to catch it because the second one is already coming. But this creates a boundary. We learn to see our parents as discipliners and no longer as people we can confide in as our therapists. Now, I'm not a therapist, but one day I do hope to be. I want to give children the opportunities that they don't get because of the color of their skin. So next time you find yourself in a position where you feel like you have no one to talk to, I want you to write. And I want you to write because writing has shown studies that it can improve your stress, your mental health, and even build your self-confidence, because who doesn't want to look pretty? But when you write, I want you to write 3 things. Number 1, I want you to write how you feel. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. I just want you to write what you're feeling. Sad, angry, upset. Number 2, I want you to write why you feel this way. Writing can help, but identifying your triggers is what helps you improve. And once you've given yourself a second to calm down, I want you to write how you feel now that you've gotten it all out. But maybe writing isn't your forte. Maybe you're too anxious to get your phone out, a pencil or a paper, and you have a million words running through your mind. I want you to remember it's okay to stop and breathe. But it's hard to when we have so much going on. So I want you to try and exercise. I want you to look around for 5 things that you can see around you. I want you to close your eyes and listen for 4 things. Then I want you to sit down and feel 3. I want you to take a deep breath in and smell 2. And then I want you to exhale and remember 1. So if I got the second chance at life, I wouldn't have taken it, because I think I'm doing pretty damn good in this one. Now, my family has become my biggest support system, but today I had dedicated my talk to my father, because even in his 60s, he's willing to learn in order to give me a better life. Thank you, Papa, and thank you, London.